again. Whoa! I'll say one more goddamn time.
What is going on, my nerds, geeks, and non-binary dweebs? Welcome back to Nerdsplosion, the weekly podcast where, based on a monthly topic, I nerd out about whatever I want. As always, I'm your host, Cameron. Now, we are at the end of Reddit month. I know, it's sad to see the journey come to an end, but, everything has to end eventually. Memento mori and everything,
Everything has to die eventually.
But today's episode, I feel like is going to be a good way to end off Reddit month. Now, I was going to read through Am I the Asshole again because I saved some pretty good posts from there, but then I found an even better subreddit that I think is going to be really good to end things off for Reddit month. Today's episode, I'm going to be reading through r/kYouKaren. Now, judging by the title, you can probably guess what this subreddit is about, but basically, it's people sharing Karen stories or posting screenshots of Karens, running rampant on social media. And I got a couple of posts that I think are pretty good, including a video, which if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the video, but I'll put in the audio for it. But anyway, I don't want to give too much away. Let's go through r/kYouKaren. This first post comes to us from Maceman10006. I will not hesitate to call the police if someone with piercings or tattoos tries to speak to me. I don't care if you're poor and need money. I don't care if you're religious. I don't care if you have children. There is no way you can be conservative and have a piercing. It's impossible. I'm keeping my children away from you, and that's just my opinion. To me, piercings are one of the lowest signs of attention seeking. That and tattoos. What makes someone want to mutilate their body for aesthetics is beyond me. People need to love themselves. I would never date someone who would do that. Definitely insecure. Not only that, but good luck getting a job. Love yourself. Interesting. Tattoos and piercings are the lowest sign of attention seeking, you say? I thought the lowest sign of attention seeking would be, making a post complaining about the way people choose to live their lives. But, whatever. This next post is from Tartar Kingdom. Evangelical Karen pissed that someone used science to break her cool story. Fact. If the Earth was 10 feet closer to the sun, we would all burn up, and if it was 10 feet further, we would freeze to death. God is amazing. And the comments read like this. Wow, that's crazy. I know. Amen. And then there's this guy. To anyone wondering, that's not true. Number 1, Earth's orbit is elliptical and the distance from the sun varies from around 147 million kilometers to 152 million kilometers on any given year. Number 2, every star has a habitable zone that is affected by the size of the star and its intensity. The sun's habitable zone is about 0.95 AU to 1.37 AU, and AU is the Earth's average distance from the sun, 93 million miles, so Earth's orbit could decrease by 4,500,000 miles or increase by 34 million miles and still be in the habitable zone. Number 3. If your claim was true, any moderately sized earthquake could take us out of the habitable zone. Sorry. And then Karen responds with, okay, that's cool and all, but don't ever comment on my status telling me that I'm wrong ever again. I didn't ask you, did I? Answer, no. I can definitely see where this guy's coming from, wanting to correct her because obviously her science was wrong, but also, I hate people like this that, I just hate the actually people, where you post something and, you could obviously be wrong. It's scientifically wrong. But the people that feel like it's their job to go on your post and be like, actually, it's, according to science, it's just like, no, shut up. Yeah, I know I'm wrong. Let me be wrong. Let me realize it on my own. I don't need your Poindexter ass telling me that I'm wrong. This next post is from Registered Tough. I feel bad for my cousin, and this is a post on Facebook. I'm not going to let one nasty Karen ruin my day, but seriously, I wanted to throw a candle at her. And then somebody responds, what happened? And then the original person responds, I had a Karen yell at me over a candle. God, imagine being so miserable, so just, distraught and wanting to make everyone else wanting to make everyone else suffer, that you're willing to yell at a retail employee over a candle. Like, my God, just take your ass out of Yankee Candle right now. Just, don't find one at Walmart. This next post is by Classic Tumbleweed. Karen visited my work yesterday. For context, I work at a high-volume Cadillac dealership that also sells/services Chevrolet. Karen comes into our dealership 10 minutes late for her 4 p.m. oil change and tosses her keys to an advisor while jabbing on her phone loudly. It was a personal call and the word affair was mentioned, but that's all I got. Cue to 5 minutes later when I look out of my office, which looks into the customer lounge. Karen has seated herself in a chair, but also pulled another leather chair from the other side of the lounge so she could take off her socks and shoes and put her nasty feet on the other chair. So she was all spread out while gabbing on her phone. She then proceeded to start complaining that she was waiting too long. It had been 15 minutes at this point, and proceeded to walk around the entire dealership barefoot, complaining about the lack of service and the excruciating wait, yada 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 yada. At about 4:45, the advisor comes to her and says her car is all done, but during their courtesy inspection, the tech recommended new shocks, brakes all around, and since she was close to $100K, routine maintenance items. Karen barely paying attention as she's focused on the outrageous and disgustingly high cost of her oil change, under $50. But when the advisor told her what needed to be done to make her car road safe, it would be about $1,100, she
lost it.
She accuses him of trying to take advantage of her because she's an older woman and we were trying to scam her thinking she didn't know anything about vehicles.
Well, Karen,
you drive a 1999 Buick Lucerne with almost 100,000 miles on it. The brakes are rusted and you have metal on metal pads and rotors, so basically no brakes. My tech didn't even want to let it go because they technically aren't street legal in our state at that point. Your shocks are gone, as in not just leaking, but one was just hanging on by a hope and a prayer, and the other was so rusted my tech didn't know how she lost it. Your front driver side frame is rusted out, so you packed it with a 2x4 and foam spray. God, I wish I had a picture of that. She didn't even get to hear about her totally bald tires. It's safe to say this woman had never done anything other than oil change on her car. Period. She screamed and cussed, demanded the owner. She got the GM and service manager. My poor cashier, who was also being personally attacked at this point, just shut her window and refused to help her anymore. I mean, Karen did call her a pathetic cunt, so I can't blame her. GM and SM are attempting to explain everything to her, but she's refusing to listen. Finally, my SM calls me over. I'm the office manager for sales, service, and warranty, to see if a female had to calm her down, as she said she now felt threatened. While I hadn't been involved yet, I'd seen her behavior and was almost ready to step out anyway. I simply said, "Ma'am, you felt comfortable enough here to take off your socks and shoes to rest on our leather chairs. You also felt comfortable enough to walk around our sales floor and service lounge barefoot. If now you're uncomfortable, I will take care of your oil change today. You have your inspection report with our technician's recommendations as well as our quote. Now, before I can release your car to you, however, I do need you to sign this waiver that you are taking your vehicle against our advice as we have deemed it unsafe for the road. We consider it a risk to your safety as well as others. In order to protect us from bad customers' decisions, we require this. State law allows us to hold your vehicle if we deem it unsafe. Per state law, if you sign this, we cannot hold your vehicle." She signed and called me a stupid fucking bitch. I was condescending to her, and she couldn't believe she was being treated that way here, and, of course, the famous, "I'm never coming back." Then she claims she knows the owner. Problem is, the owner's name isn't Peter, nor of his sons or any of his grandsons. Looking into her service history here, she's only been in once before, 3 years ago, for a wiper blade replacement. God, listen to your mechanics! My God, if a mechanic is saying, "Hey, this is unsafe, you don't drive that damn car," If your mechanic is like, hey, if you drive this car, you might kill yourself or others, you listen to your goddamn mechanic. Like, I definitely listen to all mechanics in my life, because I know at least 5 people that do cars, and I'm good buddies with a local auto shop guy, and I recently had to do my brakes because one of my coworkers said that they looked rusted out, and I was like, you know what, sure, let's change our brakes, and good thing I did, because my brakes, well, they still worked, like, they still function as brakes, the rotors will, God, if I can learn to speak today, my rotors were pretty rusty, so it was better to change them now than to wait and have something else happen. So yeah, listen to your mechanic. If they tell you your car is unsafe, let them do what they need to do. Or at least, if they're saying like, hey, we need to hold your car, let them hold your car. Better that than, to kill yourself or other people. And don't be a cunt. This next post is by Snicketfile. Karen hates women. Now, this is a response to something on Facebook that I believe it looks like it's from like a gym or something. Really tired of girls going to the gym, just looking to call men out, creating situations that aren't there. I pay attention to someone heavy lifting alone, just in case they need help to finish. Looking at someone at the gym is not offensive at all. These kind of girls need to get over themselves and stop trying to get views by putting men down. It's okay, Mary. We all get a little confused sometimes. The original point of the video was to show that men would not leave this barely legal girl alone until she mentioned the boyfriend. They stopped looking because she's taken, in other words, another man's property. They respect that more than they do her saying, hey, what you're doing is making me uncomfortable, stop. Try not talking to me like I'm stupid next time. I'll stick to what I said, putting a spin on things. Now you're coming out saying men don't respect women, and the only reason they backed off is because she had a man, and she's that man's property? Get a grip. Not everyone treats women like shit. And the gym is the community. Offering advice and correcting someone's form is actually a nice thing to do. You don't like the advice? Don't take it and keep on working out. Looking at someone isn't illegal, and like I said above, people looking out for other people. They weren't looking out for her. What don't you get? They constantly bothered her, and she asked them to stop. You're the reason people get assaulted. Back off means back off. No means no. I'm the reason people get assaulted? Go fuck yourself. Haha. God, she sounds like a bitch. What was her name? Mary? Yeah, Mary sounds like an absolute bitch, and I totally agree. It's people like this is the reason that, there's not that much punishment for men who think it's okay to be like, oh, hey, baby, what's going on? Like, no means no. That's bottom line. No means no. If a woman, this is a good advice for guys too. If a woman is saying no to you, take the hint and walk away. Don't keep pressing the issue. My God, it pisses me off when I see that. No means no. This next post is from Jack Manson 13. So, a while ago, I offered to pay for a friend's kid's college, which is a whole other story. Today, I'm just going to focus on the barbecue that she got invited to for being accepted in a first-rate college, just stayed away. My fiance got the call that we were all invited to get to know the teachers, other new students, and board members while enjoying some good weather and food. I asked what they want us to bring, and she said anything. It's important that she said anything. So the day arrives, and I packed my car with my grill and 35 pounds of venison, 10 pounds of moose, and 20 pounds of ground beef. Hunting season last year was good to me. We arrive, and it's a nice day, blue sky with little white clouds. No alcohol, but we're here for the students, not to get smashed. I start to grill a burger for my adopted daughter and fiance as my college student goes and mingles. Not 5 minutes into grilling, there was a line of people making orders and chowing down on juicy venison steaks and spicy moose kebabs. That's when Karen walks in, and oh boy, I thought the over-the-top video was just a name. What the hell is this? This is a grill, ma'am. Would you like something? Why did you bring blood food to our house? I was told that I could. Over the phone, my fiance told me this was a potluck style. I had a bunch of meat left over from Easter, so I thought, hey, good time to use it. Well, you can't bring it. It's already brought, ma'am. Well, it's my house, and I say you can't. I thought this was the dean's house. It is. I'm his wife. The dean behind me grabbing a second burger. No, you're not. Please quiet down, miss. Blah, 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 blah. We have been more than accommodating to you and your son. I could see the wheels turning in her head on how to win this, and I put my knee up to the table with the cooked meat, and sure enough, she goes for it. My tragic misreading of intent will haunt me till the day I die. She didn't push the table, she cleared it, pushing all the ready-to-eat food onto the ground. Me, about to forget all the anger management that I've learned and going to do something really stupid. My fiancé, grabbing a kebab. It's still better than a tofu anyway. I was able to calm down and pick up all the stuff, while the dean and the board had a screaming match with Karen that I couldn't hear. See, this is why vegans get a bad name now. I know not all vegans are like this, but the reason vegans get a bad name is that they're the ones out there that will just, like, berate you for even mentioning any sort of meat at all. Like, you just mention the word bacon and they're like... But, yeah, no, seriously, this is seriously why vegans get a bad name. Like, if you're vegan, that's fine. That's your lifestyle choice. You know, that's your body. It's your food. Do what you want. That's your diet. But don't force others, don't force others to be vegan. This next post is from LOL Fuck No. I was walking home from the park a few years back, and as I'm crossing the street, this guy in a shiny BMW comes speeding towards me and stopped just as he was about to hit me. He then proceeds to scream obscenities at me. The pedestrian using the crosswalk, lit up, and he just blew through a red light and almost hit me. At the speed he was going, he definitely would have severely injured or killed me. So I stood in front of him for a bit, took a picture of him and his license plate, filmed him using volatile language at me, and also a minor, called him an old bastard, and when he told me to respect my elders, I replied, okay, boomer, which made him even angrier. I only moved out of his way when the crosswalk timer had already reached 0, and the red he blew through was about to turn green. The cops didn't take me seriously when I reported him, so I just ended up finding a neighborhood traffic Facebook group and sent them the info, told them to look out for him. The admin reached out to me a few months after I sent them the info because the guy had hit somebody and the person he hit was trying to sue, and her lawyer wanted to know if my incident could be used as evidence. The guy ended up getting his license revoked and had to pay out big to the woman he hit. Old bastard. I mean, talk shit, get hit. Play stupid games, get stupid prizes. This next post is from River One Stick. This was 4th of July 2020. Everywhere was in lockdown and all public shows had been cancelled. Everyone in the neighborhood had bought fireworks and were setting them off in the street. Me and my wife at the time were at her parents' house and the 2 nieces were there. We had bought a bunch of fireworks and were setting them off in the street, being mindful of traffic, etc. 4th of July 2020 was a Saturday night. The neighbor opposite came out onto her open balcony and shouted that we were too loud and they had a child trying to sleep. We ignored her as it was Saturday at 7:30 p.m. If they were worried about the child trying to sleep, close the balcony door. Then a guy came up to us yelling that what we were doing was illegal. We had checked the city laws and it obviously was not. He got in everyone's face yelling and got within 2 feet of everyone and tried taking photos saying he was going to the police. We didn't care and I even posed for my photo. Issue was when he tried taking photos of my teen nieces and we told him not to take photos of minors. Loved when he got close to our firework in the street, thought he was going to kick it, and it suddenly went off, causing him to have to run/jump. He went down the street yelling at every family setting off fireworks. Why would you try to put your child to sleep, first of all, at 7:30 in the afternoon on 4th of July? You know damn well people are going to be setting off fireworks, so why would you be mad that people are setting off fireworks at, 7:30 in the afternoon on 4th of July? Because you know damn well everybody and their grandmother is setting off fireworks, so why would you be mad about it? Pick a better time, or at least, like this person said, close all the doors, try to soundproof as much as possible. Now, I know a lot of places, like, they can't exactly soundproof, fireworks because you can hear them from wherever. Like, where I live now, I know I'm probably going to hear fireworks a lot more prominently because I actually live really close to where some fireworks get set off on, special holidays or 4th of July and stuff like that. So there's only so much soundproofing you can do, but still, you can soundproof, and especially if it's 4th of July, just don't be mad when people are setting off fireworks on 4th of July. This next post comes to us from the philosopher TMH. The story of the apartment building Karen. A few years ago, I was helping my mother-in-law move into an apartment building for people 50 plus. The doors have a lock that is opened with a key card. As I'm unloading the U-Haul and opening the door, an old lady approaches my wife and I. She comes up pretty close, way in my bubble, and asked if we live here. Not wanting to be rude, I tell her that we are helping my mother-in-law move in. She saw me using the key card and tells me that I'm not allowed to have one according to the rules of the apartment, and that she's going to get my mother-in-law evicted. She then asks what apartment she lives in. I tell her it's none of her business and to please leave us alone to do our work. When we get to the apartment, we tell mother-in-law what happened, so she's prepared for a response. She tells us that the rules actually say that people helping with moving and family are allowed to use the key card, and since we are both, we're fine. On the way back down to the U-Haul, I got an idea. Of course, the Karen was still standing out by our U-Haul, just waiting to say something stupid again. We start getting more furniture and head to the door. She can't contain or control herself, so obviously she starts in on us with, "What are your names? You could be criminals. What is the apartment number? You shouldn't have a key card." That's where I put my plan into action. I tell her I don't have a key card anymore. I don't need it. I hacked into the building security with my smartphone. I go up to the door, hold my phone up to the lock, and it turns green and opens. I hid the key card in my phone case so she couldn't see it. She stomped off, mumbling to herself about reporting this to the main office. Little did she know that I already talked to them. They are sick of her harassing people, and she has a long history of doing just that. I told them my plan, and they laughed about it. Treat me like a criminal, and now you get to worry that I hacked your building security. This next post is actually a cross post from r/public freakout, and this is posted by B. Hema. The caption says, "Not all heroes wear capes, some wear New Balances." Now, there's a video to this, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll actually show the clip. But for those of you that are listening, to describe it, it's this woman who obviously is being a Karen at a McDonald's, just complaining, yelling at workers, blah, blah, blah. And there's another guy after her side that is just not having it. So here's the audio.
Shut me up. I'm so tired of ignorant people like you coming in here talking bad about the workers. That's why you can't get workers. Who wants to sit here and listen to some bitch come in here and talk shit to him? Let that man work. That man ain't calling you no problems. He's doing the best he can. It doesn't matter what I like. I can tell you don't like it. Well, too bad. Go someplace else. Go to Burger King. Have it your way at Burger King. Would you shut the fuck up? I just said that. I said shut the fuck up. I don't care who you call. I could care less.
Excuse me, can you call the police?
You call them.
Yes, you can.
You call them. You see they're busy.
Well, then get the manager back over here.
What's wrong with that corner for now?
Better yet, I don't want the food.
You don't need the. You don't need the food.
I gotta give major props to this guy for standing up to this Karen. A lot of us would either just call the cops right away or just leave the area and not want to deal with it at all. But this man had the courage and, just the balls to look at a Karen in her face, match her energy, and just be like, "You are being ridiculous." And I just loved the line of like, "You don't like it, go to Burger King. Have it your way at Burger King." I love that line. Our last post today comes to us from Amy TS. This is sort of a get it off my chest kind of post. 13 years ago, I was the Karen. This is my story. I flew to Los Angeles to go to Anime Expo. At the time, I was a big anime fan and hadn't been on a vacation in a while, so I decided to get a room in a nice hotel and really enjoy myself. I stayed in the Westin Bonaventure. It was the hotel where True Lies was filmed. I was there for 3 days in July. The convention was great and my hotel room was great, except it was really hot. No matter what I set the AC to, I would sleep without anything covering me and I still sweated. After the first night, I told the front desk, then went to the convention where I took lots of pictures. After the second night, I was furious. Right, you know where this is going. I went down to the front desk and complained, but I didn't demand a manager. Not yet.
As my transformation into Karen wasn't yet complete, it had only begun.
I told them my room was too hot, and the poor lady behind the desk apologized and offered a reason. Los Angeles was enduring a heat wave, and the hotel was doing the best it could. I rejected this excuse and got angry. I felt that I was being lied to, so I unleashed my Karen and screamed, "I've stayed in hotels that smell like piss, but by God, somehow they managed to have working AC, and you want me to believe you can't because it's too hard? I'm paying a lot of money each night, yet you can't afford to run the AC?" I screamed this at the top of my lungs, filling the entire lobby with my bitch voice. I was immediately the center of attention for 2 to 3 dozen people. After that line, I turned and stomped off in a severe huff. I made eye contact with someone nearby, so naturally I yelled, "Fuck off!" to them. Now you might be thinking that this completed my transformation, but you would be mistaken, because maybe 10 minutes or so later, I returned to the lobby to demand the manager. I don't recall if I spoke to the same person as before, but they told someone in management who I immediately targeted for wrathful destruction. The deeply apologetic manager let me know that he fully understood the issue and my frustration, so he upgraded my room to a bigger suite at no extra charge. The AC in the new room wasn't any better, but it was my last night in the hotel, so I let it go. I was too eager to get back home where my room would be a comfortable temperature at night. I'm not proud of my behavior. I think my concerns were valid, but how I went about it was completely dysregulated. If I knew who the poor lady was who became the object of my wrath was, I would apologize to her. She didn't deserve to be screamed at. I'm sorry, whoever you are. Anyway, I hope the sub enjoyed my story. I love these cases. Like, obviously you act like a Karen, but you understand, your behavior. Now, I definitely agree. Your concerns are valid. Like, I hate being hot. Like, even right now in my apartment, it's, God, what is it? It's 72, so it's not as bad as it could be, but I'm still sweating right now because I'm just naturally warm. So I understand. I hate being hot too. Like, I hate sweating. I hate being really hot. So I understand the concern. Could you have gone about it a little nicer? Yeah, probably. Not screamed at people, but obviously, yeah, your concerns are valid. So, I just love when Karens recognize that they're being Karens and, afterwards correct their behavior. That's just, I love seeing that turnaround. I just love seeing the, maybe I was a bit of a bitch. So, yeah, good on you, Amy TS. Good on you. Whew, alright, I think with that, we're gonna call it an episode. I definitely enjoyed reading through this Reddit. This is definitely one of my new favorite subreddits, and that is gonna be the end of Reddit month. Now, don't worry, I'll definitely return to Reddit at some point. Maybe I'll return to it as, like, part of a themed month or whatever. Like, I'll read off some stories, like, say I'm doing Zelda, or if I do, like, a Valentine's thing, or some love-themed thing, and do, like, a Tinder thing. Why not? But yeah, I'll return to Reddit at some point, but this is going to be the end of Reddit month. Now, next month is going to be Star Wars themed. So I got plenty planned for that. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, let me know. The link tree in the description goes to all my social medias, my Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, all this different stuff for the podcast. Also in the description, there's a link to help support this podcast. If you guys like what I do, consider supporting this podcast. There's the little things that help me along the way. New episodes of this podcast come out every Saturday, so make sure you're following, doing whatever you can on different, podcast platforms, whatever you're listening to, Spotify, just whatever platform you're listening on. Just make sure you're following, notifications, all that jazz. Also, video versions come out on my YouTube every Saturday as well, so make sure you check out my YouTube, SuperCam64, if you want some video versions, because I know a lot of people do YouTube for podcasts, which I don't know why, but hey, that's the thing, who am I to judge? But with that being said, I'm going to call this an episode. I hope you guys are doing great things out there. I hope you guys are doing really positive things. I hope you guys are staying hydrated. I've been Cameron, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Nerd out.